가득 채워주신 기자님께 진심으로 감사의 말씀을 드립니다. 지금부터 터미네이터 다크페이트 아시아 패스 정킷 행사를 시작하도록 하겠습니다. 저는 오늘 진행을 맡은 유시아입니다. 반갑습니다. 자, 터미네이터 다크페이트는 아마 작품 보셔서 아실 텐데요. 18일 그날 그 후 미래에서 슈퍼솔저 그레이스와 최첨단 기술력으로 인정한 출간물죠. 터미네이터 레브 9이 벌이는 새로운 운명의 격돌을 초대형 블록버스터입니다. 특히나 업그레이드된 새로운 캐릭터 그레이스와 레브 9의 강렬한 액션 대결은요, 그 데드풀의 팀 밀러 감독의 연출을 통해서 더욱더 거칠고 파격적인 액션 아드레날린을 선사할 것이다라고 말씀을 드릴 수가 있겠습니다. 전 세계 팬들의 이목을 집중시키는 중요한 포인트가 이 터미네이터를 찬조한 제임스 카메론 감독이 2편 이후에 28년 만에 제작자로 직접 참여했다는 거죠. 그리고 T800의 아놀드슈왈츠제네거와 사라 코너 역을 맡았던 린다해밀턴이 컴백을 해서 터미네이터 2의 오리지널리티를 잇는 작품으로 기대를 모으고 있습니다. 오늘 이 자리에는 슈퍼솔저 그레이스 역의 맥킨지 데이비스, 영원한 T800 역의 아놀드 슈왈츠네거, 그리고 신발의 날을 동결시킨 터미네이터 헌터, 사라 코너 역의 린다 해밀턴, 새로운 인류의 희망 베니 역의 나탈리아 레이스, 최강의적 터미네이터 레브 9 역의 가브리엘 루나, 이렇게 5명의 배우와 연출을 맡으신 팀 밀러 감독님이 참석할 예정입니다. 포토타임프의 질의응답 하겠고요. 여러분들 동시통역기 착용해 주시면 동시통역으로 행사가 진행이 되겠습니다. 특별히 영화와 상관없는 사적인 질문이나 스포일러가 될 수 있는 질문은 자제해 주실 것을 미리 부탁을 드리겠습니다. 그럼 지금부터 본격적으로 터미네이터 다크페이트 아시아 프레스 정킷 행사를 시작하도록 하겠습니다. 포토타임 먼저 진행합니다. 팀 밀러 감독과 터미네이터 다크페이트의 주역 모두 무대로 모시겠습니다. Thank you. Yeah. Good and special pose. Korean pose, Korean heart. Oh, that would be great. Yeah. Wow. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So then, please step down for a while, and then we'll do a solo shot from Natalie Brave. team leader. Yeah, team leader. So all the actors, please come down for a line. Thank you. 모셔보도록 하겠습니다. 여러분 환영의 박수 부탁드립니다. 네, 여러분 반갑습니다. 자, 그럼 이제부터 시작을 해보도록 하겠습니다. 자, 먼저 아놀드 슈왈츠제네거 배우님께서는 여러 번 방문하셨고 다른 분들은 공식적으로 첫 번째 방문으로 알고 있습니다. 그래서 한국 방문 소감과 함께 오늘 아침 함께 하시는 기자님들께 인사 한 말씀 좀 부탁드려도 될까요?
So hello everyone, welcome to Seoul, Korea. To start off, I know Arnold has been to Korea several times already, but for the rest of the cast, it's your first official visit to this country. So, can you tell us how you feel about being in this country and also greet the press that are presented here? Can we start with you, Tim?
Hi, how are you? I'm so happy to be here, and I'm so proud to be bringing this film here first. Korean audience will be the first audience to see the film, and I couldn't be more excited. Thank you so much for asking us, and we're so happy that everyone is here to see the film and talk to us about it.
Thank you, Arnold. Next, please.
The last time I was here, I said I'll be back. And the Terminator always gives his promise, right? So I'm back. And I'm back now with a great team, great cast, great director, Tim Miller. And I'm very, very excited going around the world and promoting this film, Darkfate. You know, whenever you have a good movie, then it is much more fun promoting it than when it is a so-so movie or a shitty movie. So this one is a great movie. On all of the test screenings, it has scored really high, through the roof. So we're really, really excited about it, and especially this is a very important audience. I've been coming here for over 30 years in South Korea, the Seoul, and to not only promoting movies or books, but also to come here on vacation, or to visit the American troops. So it's one or the other, so it's always wonderful to be here. Thank you for having us.
Thank you very much for being there. Okay.
Hi, this is my first time to Korea. I think it is heaven on earth. I love everything about Seoul. We love your food. We went to the Junket yesterday. I love your spas. I love fashion. I love the people. I love Korea, and I love your food. I'm excited about the movie.
찜질방도 가셨다고 하는데 찜질방 때문에 한국 또 오시는 거 아닌지 모르겠어요?
I'm so happy that you went to Junket. Maybe that's what's gonna bring you back next time to Korea.
I was already coming back, but yes, there are many reasons.
네. 자, 다음 기자님.
Hi, thank you so much. I only arrived last night, so I'm a little behind. But Mackenzie will lead the way. She's already got it all figured out, and I hope to great city. I'm very, very honored to be here.
Hey everyone, I've had a wonderful time here. I have a friend who moved here 12 years ago and has been very helpful. He's just showing me around. I think I bought all the stickers in Line and Friends. And I love your films. I love the films that come out of this country. The Old Boy, and Good, Bad, and Weird. This is my favorite film. And thank you for having us. We've had so much fun, and I look forward to coming back again. Thank you very much.
Hello everyone. It's also my first time in Korea, but I'm telling you, I am moving to Korea with Mackenzie. She can visit me. Yeah, shared apartment. I love Korea with all my heart. The food is amazing. The people have been absolutely kind and beautiful, and the spa was the best experience ever with the frogs and the cart. But it was a great experience. I'm really happy. Also, my favorite movies in the world are from Korea. Park Chan-wook, Parasite, Director, and I love your films. I love your country, and I'm really honored to be here.
네, 여러분이 이렇게 다 한국의 팬이 되셨다는 얘기 들으니까 한국의 전 인구가 5천만 인구가 터미네이터 때 팬이 될 것 같은 예감이 듭니다.
So great to hear that all of you love Korea that much, and I believe we have 50 million population here in Korea, and I'm sure that 50 million will be the fans of the Terminator Darkfate.
자, 그러면 이제 여러분들의 질문 받도록 하겠습니다. 질문 있으신 분은 손을 들어주시면 저희 마이크 전달해 드리겠고요. 한국어로 부탁드리고요. 매체마다 상황 말씀해 주시면 좋겠습니다. 가운데 마이크 먼저 보내드리도록 하겠습니다.
예, 문화일보 대표입니다. 슈와르 씨로 질문드리겠는데요. 35년 동안 시리즈가 시작되고 35년 동안 4편을 제외한 전 시리즈의 중심을 잡아오셨는데 긴 시간 동안 시리즈와 함께해온 감회를 먼저 듣고 싶고요. 또 지난번 한국에 오셨지만 5편 제니시스 때 거기 대사 중에 인체 조직이 노화로 늙어 보이지만 여전히 쓰고 있다 라는 팝스의 대사처럼 이번에도 묵직한 액션 연기로 건재를 가시는데요. 35년 전과 다름없이 여전히 화끈한 액션을 보여줄 수 있는 비결을 듣고 싶습니다.
So my question goes to Arnold. You've been at the very forefront, at the very center of this whole franchise over the 35 years, except for the fourth one. But first of all, I want to know what it feels like to be part of this franchise for such a long time. And second, there was a line, I think, in the Genesis that it says, although this Terminator may look old and maybe a bit obsolete, but it's still very useful and has its use. And I believe that you're coming back to this one with some really intense action. What is the secret behind being able to perform the action for such a long period of time?
Well, first of all, it was, one of those miracles to be an actor and to kind of get involved with a franchise that is so popular. I was very happy that Jim Cameron asked me to play the Terminator in 1984. And this film in 1984 kind of really helped my career, elevated my career. And after that film, I was offered many, many action movies. After there was Commando and Predator, The Heat, and the list went on and on and on. And then we did another Terminator, a sequel, which became the highest grossing movie of the year, and it was successful movie of the year. So I think that being part of this franchise has been really very, very important in my career, and also for me as a person. I thought that I learned a lot from that, working with the various different directors that I've worked with. And now to be back again at Darkfate, and to have everyone be united again. Jim Cameron worked on this movie and created a story, and to have Linda Hamilton back now again, it's really fantastic. And I'm so happy that we have Tim Miller, who is a man that understands action, that understands how to direct us, but also is very familiar with visual effects. So this is a really great combination. Now when it comes to my age, I really don't feel my age. I think it is because I train all the time. You know, I train every day, so I'm kind of ready for a movie like that. But I do, you know, kind of prepare myself for months in advance. And I work with the stunt department, with the stunt coordinators, and I practice the different stunts because I believe in reps. And so, you know, I do those things, and so I don't really feel the age in that sense that you say old but not obsolete. Yeah, maybe I'm older but not obsolete. So I think it's a good line from the movie.
네, 고맙습니다. 다음 질문 가겠습니다. 자, 네, 이번 질문은 네, 저쪽으로 가는가요? 마이크가 네, 왼쪽으로 가겠습니다.
네, 안녕하세요. 저는 로드레스의 최한주 기자라고 합니다. 저는 팀 밀러 감독님에게 질문을 드리고 싶은데요. 먼저 멋진 액션과 멋진 여성 서사를 보여준 영화였다고 생각하는데요. 좋은 영화 감사드리고요. 그 터미네이터 1, 2편보다 어떤 여성의 역할이나 의미가 좀 확대가 되는데요. 여성이 세상을 구할 영웅을 보호하는 역할이 아니라 좀 그 스스로가 세상을 구할 영웅이 되어서 이제 활동하는 그런 영화인데 이처럼 좀 여성 서사를 보다 확장하신 좀 이유가 있는지 궁금합니다.
This question goes to our director, Tim. First of all, we want to thank you for this very mind-blowing action and the great story, the saga shown in the Darkfate. We want to thank you very much for that. Now, compared to the first two Terminator versions, this one has a focus and expanded roles and the meanings given to the female characters. In the first one, it was the woman protecting or giving a birth basically to the future hero, but this time, women are the heroes and heroines themselves. Is there a particular reason for that expansion of that woman's role?
I think the prominence of women in Terminator movies was there from the beginning. I think the first movie was about Sarah Connor. I think the second movie was about Sarah Connor. You could argue that perhaps it was focused with John, but John really was about what he became, and it was about Sarah protecting him. And so to me, I forget all the other films, no offense, Ron. And then this film really was going to continue that focus on Sarah. I think the story comes out of the decisions that Sarah made, and it was really continuing her journey. Now, I think it's natural that what she did at the end of Terminator 2 changed the future, and she has to deal with that new future, which means additional characters that come into the franchise that weren't there before. It wasn't like a plan, it was more like the evolution of the story that had been started already. And then you're in this moment when you can decide, okay, well, who are these new people? Who is the new... In Terminator, there's always Trinity, usually. There's the prey, the hunter, and the protector. And Gabriel was the hunter. Arnold was the hunter and the protector. Kyle Reese was the protector. Mackenzie Davis's character. Grace is the protector. Natalia is the prey. Linda is the protector. So you have to sort of fill out those other traditional roles and the triumvirate of this franchise. So who are they going to be? Now we could have made it anything, but to me, there's been so many movies where men pick up guns and defend things, or men beat the shit out of everyone in defense or in vengeance or in whatever. And look, I like those movies, I grew up on them, but it's so much more interesting to me to have women step into that role more, if for no other reason than because it hasn't been done as much. And I think they bring a whole new dimension to the action. I designed action for Mackenzie that I wouldn't have designed.
나탈리아 레이를 배우분께 질문이 있는데요. 이번 시리즈에서 새로운 캐릭터인 데니 라모스를 맡았는데 그 데니가 영문도 모른 채 터미네이터한테 쫓기는 캐릭터라면서 그 1편의 산업 코너를 영향시킵니다. 이와 관련해서 그 린다해밀턴 배우분께 캐릭터에 대한 조언을 받았는지와 이런 기념비적인 시리즈에 출연하게 된 소감에 대해서 질문드립니다.
This question goes to Natalia. You're playing the role of Danny Ramos, who is being chased by Terminator, not knowing why. And this reminds us of the Sarah Connor from the previous movies. Did Linda give you any advice on that because of the similarities? And another question again to you is, what does it feel like to be part of this legendary franchise?
Well, I think as in the trailer, Sarah says to Danny, I was here, like she feels sorry for me because she's been in this position that Danny is now, like she's the prey and she's the one being chased by this new machine. So I think that's why Sarah actually feels sorry for her and she's trying to help her with Mackenzie, who plays Grace. In real life, like when we were shooting this movie, I think Linda was absolutely generous and kind and loving with all of us. But I think especially with me, it was such an inspiration. I think more than advice, like she was not telling me what to do or how to do it, she was absolutely respectful and she was trying to let me do my thing. But she just by being herself and being so professional and being always there and being kind and being loving with everyone on camera and behind the camera, I think that's the best example. Like I think by example is the best advice you can actually give. Just acting and doing what she loves to do. And she's not only an amazing actress, but she is just an amazing human being. She's so professional, she loves her work, she cares about every single line she says. So that's really inspiring. I always say, like, she knows I want to be like her.
그 세라토마 같은 캐릭터를 가지고 계신 것 같습니다. 린다 배우님. 자, 이제 다음 질문 하겠습니다. 네, 오른쪽으로 가도록 하겠습니다. 오른쪽 마이크 좀
Hello.
주세요.
Oh, it's me. Hello, I'm on. G'day guys, it's Steve Hargrave from Australia, Sunrise. Good to see you all. I'm over here in my Hawaiian shirt. This question is mainly for Linda. Great to see you back kicking ass again in this movie. And Arnie, you can fill in a bit with this afterwards, Arnold. 28 years since you were last working on the Terminator movie. What's that moment like when you go on set, you see each other in your outfits? Talk us through the emotions, Linda, of just being back in that world. And Arnold, afterwards, maybe you can just explain the special relationship you have on and off screen.
Well, it was a fantastic moment to see Arnold again. We had not really spoken for too many years, but we had forged a great friendship in our earlier incarnations as Sarah and the T-800. And really just sort of lost touch when he became the governor and, he was awfully busy. So on set, when we were there and in our costumes, I think it was a very natural, organic place that, we just fell right back into it. Even though we had been working and training for a year, so it's not like you just step onto the stage and you're Sarah Connor. I mean, I had been training for a year, and I felt very, very ready. And then seeing Arnold and working with Arnold just sort of finished the picture for me. Made me feel 100%, there, and that's really all that there is. We just continued in that vein for the rest of the film, and it was many days and many nights, and never been happier, truly.
네, 고맙습니다. 자, 다음 질문.
Say that for me it was really absolute heaven when Jim Cameron told me they're going to bring 린다해밀턴 back. I was so happy and I was so delighted when I heard that. But at the same time I said to myself, without any doubt, the most pressure is on 린다해밀턴 in this movie. And the reason is because she raised the bar so high on Terminator 2. I think that there was no woman that ever was such a badass as Linda Hamilton was. And that someone that physically also looked like it, that they can do all the things that she did in that movie. From doing her chin-ups, to pull-ups, to push-ups, the running, the jumping, the fighting, the shooting, everything that she did in that movie looked totally believable because of the look of her body and because she trained hours and hours and hours for months and months and months to get ready for this part. So the question was, after 28 years, how do you top that? So then you're under a lot of pressure. No two ways about it. And I don't know if she wants to go into that and talk about that, but I can tell you one thing, that what I have heard from her was that she trained from the moment when Jim Cameron called her and told her that she was in and she agreed to be in. From that moment on, for 1 year, she trained every day and did the same kind of a training to prepare for the role as she did for Terminator 2. And you know, to do that at the age of 60 is a whole different ballgame, I'm sure. But she did it. And when I was on the set and I watched we did this first day of action, and I saw her the way she moved and the way she handled the guns, I said to myself, Linda Hamilton is back. And she's a badass as she always was. And so now she doesn't only set a new standard, I think, for women in general, of what they can do on a screen, but also what a 60-year-old woman can do on a screen. So to me that is spectacular. I think that she really pulled it off. And so for me it was delightful working with her. And of course it was delightful for me to work with the rest of the cast. But it was great to reunite with her again after 28 years, yes.
고맙습니다. 자, 이번에는 주변, 네, yes, please, sir.
Where? But I just want to say that there's a lot of moments during the process of a movie where you imagine something, but you don't know if it's going to work. You hope it works, but you don't know until that moment. And we did a costume test with Linda and Mackenzie. I think we did that day as well. I still remember the whole day very vividly. But Linda walked out in her costume, and there is the visual of her looking like a badass. We knew that was going to be true, but I could tell in her eyes that she felt like a badass. She enjoyed looking like a badass. And to me, that I knew this was all going to work, because she just owned that character in such a way. She put the sunglasses on, she checks her weapons in this way that makes me feel like she is very comfortable and is just going to own this character throughout the whole movie. And what a I wouldn't say a relief, what a great feeling it was, because you know that, fuck, this thing is going to work.
또 덧붙이시고 싶은 분 계실까요? Does anybody want to add anything to this? 괜찮습니까? 네.
We all love Linda so much. It can be an endless thing. You'll hear in any question you ask us, there will be more stuff about that, I promise.
터미네이터 다크페이트의 중심에는 우리 세라토나의 린다해밀턴 배우님이 우뚝 서 계셨기 때문에 가능한 게 아닌가 생각했습니다.
Well, I think, Linda, you really played an important role in this all, throughout this process, at the very center, and you grounded everything, so I think it's impressive.
Thank you. 네, 그럼 이제 저희 질문 다음 대로 가보도록 하겠습니다.
안녕하세요. 캡스타니스 이창규 기자입니다. 맥키니 데이비스의 질문인데요. 이 영화에 출연하기 전에 터미네이터 시리즈를 하나도 보시지 않는 걸로 알고 있는데, 몰아보면서 어떤 그 1편부터 5편까지 작품 중에서 어떤 게 가장 인상적이었고, 그리고 연기를 하면서 좀 참고했던 캐릭터가 있다면 어떤 게 있는지 좀 궁금합니다.
Question to Mackenzie. We heard that you have not watched any installment of Terminator until you decided to be on board with this particular installment, meaning that you must have seen all of it at once. Now, the first question is, which one of them out of all 5 did you find most impressive? And were there any elements or characteristics or things that you looked at to maybe use it for your future act for this installment?
I have to correct a few things. I have not seen all of them. I have seen the first 3. And I watched the first 2 about 6 months before I found out that I was going to audition for this movie in a very unrelated move. Somebody I was having a meeting with, we were talking about our favorite movies, and he emphatically urged me to see Terminator 1 and 2, that they were these great moments in cinema. So I went home that night and screened them for myself in my house, and was just blown away. I mean, I think they've aged extremely well, but especially Terminator 2 feels incredibly relevant. The aesthetics of it don't feel old or dated at all. They feel like really urgent, pressing. Sarah Connor feels like this. She was ahead of her time then, and she still feels like this really urgent, necessary character. It doesn't feel like a throwback to another time where you sort of like cringe at some of the politics or the gestures. She's this whole human woman with a whole wealth of experiences, and they all influence her behavior. So she just feels very contemporary and ageless. And it felt like discovering this sort of missing piece of, I hate strong female characters. I hate saying that term because I feel like it's become a bit of a buzzword and it loses any meaning, but part of this legacy of impressive, authoritative, combative characters on screen, and Linda Hamilton and Sarah Connor is this, important puzzle piece that if you don't know it's there, you're missing out on the origin for Ripley from Aliens and from all of these sort of impressive characters that came afterwards. So I loved it. And in terms of what I took for it from my role, I mean, obviously Linda's body is so intimidating. And I felt like it was a really necessary part of my preparation to at least strive for something in the vicinity of that. And I used her dedication as inspiration, and then really once I got to know her more, the same with Natalia, I think she really influenced all of us on set with her attention to her role and the stakes of this world, and just her focus and understanding of how important everything we were doing was. Just every day really focused us. So it was all very influential.
아쉽지만 시간 관계상 저희 마지막 질문 보여드릴 것 같습니다. 마지막 질문 중간에 준비되어 있네요.
네, 안녕하세요. 저 토트넘 뉴스 뉴스토마토 김희경 기자라고 합니다. 저 팀밀러 감독이랑 가브리엘 배우님께 질문 하나씩 있는데요. 그래서 팀밀러 감독에게 맥켄지 데이비스랑 나탈리아 레이즈가 영화에서 굉장히 뛰어난 액션은 물론 감정적인 연기를 훌륭하게 보여줬다고 생각합니다. 이렇게 뛰어난 신인 배우들을 어떻게 찾았는지, 어떤 걸 보고 캐스팅했는지 궁금하고요. 이 캐스트들 그대로 후속 시리즈가 제작될 가능성은 얼마나 있는지 알려주시면 감사하겠습니다. 그리고 가브리엘 배우님께는 아놀드 슈왈제네거에 이어 새로운 터미네이터 시리즈에 합류하게 된 소감이 궁금하고, 외부라인 이전에 터미네이터와 차별되는 점이 있다면 어떤 게 있는지 궁금합니다.
So first question goes to Tim, second goes to Gabrielle. Let me start with you, Tim. There are 2 new female casts, Natalia and Mackenzie, and they do a great job portraying the emotions and doing all these great actions. How do you and did you discover these great, up and coming new talents? What do you look at when you try to audition them? And another question for you is there a possibility for the next sequel? And the next question for Gabrielle is that you are the new Terminator. And what does it feel like to play the role that Arnold has played for so long? And what sets Rev 9 apart from the previous Terminators? Sabatin?
First of all, I'd like to say that I didn't discover either one of these actors. They were already very well accomplished when I cast them in this role. I met Mackenzie first. She had read for the role of Grace, and I just thought she was fantastic. She read a scene from Man on Fire, and it Denzel Washington's character is a protector, and he protects this little girl, and it's really beautiful. Mackenzie just fucking crushed it. She just has this inner strength in her. I feel it's her in real life, but it's certainly she's such a great actor that she could become anyone she wanted. And we talk about it all the time. I think it's still a mystery to me. But Mackenzie sought the role. She really wanted to be in the movie. I think she liked the character. But for some crazy reason, she really believed in the film, even from the start, which was honorable. I find very gratifying. In Natalia's case, when you do these movies, the casting is many actors who read for the role, and especially where we were looking for someone who was less known, who could inhabit this new role that we had. So we put out a very wide call to all of South America, and the States too, for people of Latin American extract, and we saw hundreds of takes. Natalia was one of, we auditioned 5 ladies that we thought were really interesting. Linda came in and they read with Linda. Natalia was number 2 or 3, and immediately Linda said, she's the one. I'd like to think that I picked her, but in fact, Linda did that. No, I thought she was fantastic. Even if Linda hadn't said that, I would have picked her. We'll never know, but that would have been a bad start. Linda says, she's the one, and I go, you're wrong, get out. No, she was great. We did this scene about her brother, where she's talking about her brother, and it's a very emotional scene, and as I'm describing the scene to her, she begins crying, and I'm like, oh my God, she's so good. So good. Anyway, she was brilliant. And there's one part of the question. Oh, sequel? Like I would tell you people. We hope there's a sequel. We've made plans. Oh, can I also say that when Arnold showed up on set in that jacket, I knew that it was going to work. That jacket was the best thing ever. Best Terminator jacket ever, by far. And that's a little joke.
Thank you. Tisabella?
Yes, to have the extraordinary opportunity to play a character that that was established by one of the probably the greatest action hero of all time, and he said a few times that this character not only is it one of the top 10 villains of all time, it's also one of the top 10 heroes, and there's very few characters where you can say that have made that kind of transformation over the course of the franchise. I've loved the films for my entire life, and it never ever crossed my mind this would ever be possible. But once it was, it was explained to me in a way. I think maybe my team had some misinformation, and they said, "Oh, play one of the Terminators." I thought, "Oh, I'd be happy if you won a few killing machines sent back." And so I went through my audition process and eventually got the role and discovered that no, I was the Terminator, and in fact I was a one-man pack of Terminators, which was really exciting, because once I learned of the powers and the abilities of the Rev 9, I knew that it was going to be very exciting to see on screen. And it's this really wonderful combination of the strength and the durability of Arnold's T-800 and the agility and mobility and speed of Robert's T-1000. And I wanted to make sure to honor both their performances, and then of course try to build on and do what I could to create something fresh and new. And the machine itself is amazing. I love the new design. This is matte black, very kind of evil looking thing, And it's got it has a metal endoskeleton that's lighter and faster because it's carbon based, and then it has an exoskeleton that can create the human mimicry that Robert was able to do. So it's an incredible infiltration machine, and what I wanted to add to that, on top of all of it, was just really convincing and very accurate simulation of human behavior. So it was very natural, and when he was interacting with humans, he could use charm and just it's easy to catch flies with honey, as they say. So you don't have to be a one-man buzzsaw to tear through everything, which I am at times. You can also find more sophisticated ways to achieve your objective. So the machine itself is awesome, and I'm looking forward to people seeing it in all its glory.
Just one more thing to add. Some might say coincidence, some might say destiny, but we had different names for the Terminator in the script depending on what state he was, endoskeleton or ectoplasmic entity. But when he was both together, his name was Gabriel in the script, and this was long before Gabriel auditioned for the role. Just one of those. Yeah. Destiny, yes. Destiny.
정말 멤버들과 즐거운 시간을 했는데요. 지금부터 여기까지 해야 될 것 같습니다. 질문해주신 기자님들께 진심으로 감사를 드리고요. 오늘 멋진 시간을 만들어주신 저희 배우분들을 위해서 저희가 특별히 감독님과 아놀드 슈왈츠제네거 배우님의 기타 모든 배우님들의 특별한 선물을 준비를 했습니다. 아시죠? 한국의 전통무장 갓인데요. 여기 계신
감사합니다.
유명한 액션을 선보이셔서 이게 또 갓이 G.O.D. 영어 발음이 갓이잖아요. 액션 신, 갓 액션이라는 의미로 저희가 준비를 했습니다. 이미 already 하신 거죠?
We bought some yesterday, and we are taking this home. We already have.
They're the shadiest hats I've ever seen.
They're the best.
Yeah, they look like vintage Dior couture. They're the most beautiful hats I've ever seen.
We love them. 감사합니다.
그러면 저희 소감과 함께 그냥 마무리 일단 한 번씩 여쭤봐도 좋을 것 같아요.
Alright, so how about we go around? Yes. 감사합니다. Thank you everyone for coming. These hats are the best in the world, and your culture is so amazing. I'm really honored to be here. I hope to be back. I'm telling you, I'm coming back, and I just really hope you all go watch this movie. We made it with all our hearts. It was a hard work, but it's really great to start this year. Thank you.
Yes. 감사합니다. Thank you so much. Korea is 예뻐요? Beautiful. Thank you so much. We've had so much fun, and I can't wait to come back. Thank you.
I think I look the best in the hat. You chose this dress so that this hat would work. I love it. Thank you so much. It's fantastic.
I also love this hat. We saw it yesterday walking around and went on a hunt all day long to acquire them. Natalia and I already have it, but I'm very happy to have two. And we both know to wear it sort of jaunty like this, which is maybe not traditional. But thank you very much. 감사합니다.
I wish I would have gotten a hat that is my size. People don't realize that I have a big head in every way possible. But anyway, thank you for this nice gift. And I also want to say it's great to be back again. And I think that what makes me really most proud about this movie is that the whole franchise was always meant to entertain anyone around the world. It was not meant just for America. It entertains audiences in the Middle East, in Africa, in Asia, all over Europe, Australia. No matter where you take this movie, people have a good time watching this movie. So that was the idea. This is what stories ought to be. That you have kind of a universal appeal so that everyone can get entertained. So that's what I like about Junket.
마지막으로 감독님께는요, 혹시 다시 다음번 터미네이터 소품을 혹시 어떤지 한번 물어주세요.
Well, maybe to Tim, maybe if you make a sequel, you could use this Korean traditional hat as part of a prop. What do you think?
Oh yeah, I think that a Terminator wearing this hat would be terrifying. Terrifying. Actually, it's black, and it's metal, so Gabriel could probably form it. It could grow out of his head in time to stretch. They told us yesterday, because this really was, Mackenzie could not think of anything else until she owned this hat. And they told us that it was a sign of a certain intellectual attainment in Korean society, and that only those who had reached this learned level could wear these hats. And so I think that our cast all deserves this, because what more intellectual film could there be than a Terminator movie? Worldwide, it's known for its quality, intellectual, and thought-provoking qualities. So thank you very much.
네, 고맙습니다. 오늘 함께해 주신 분들 정말 감사드리고요. 혹시 불편하시면 가슴 두고 가시면 저희가 챙겨서 보내드리도록 하겠습니다.
Thank you very much for all of your time. Your answers were great. Now, if you wish to leave your hat here on the chair, that would be great. Now, this is the end of the jump. Thank you very much, Dr. Chung.
네, 수고해 주신 배우분과 감독님께 진심으로 감사의 말씀드립니다. 고맙습니다. 네, 고맙습니다. 영화는 멋지지만 이 함께 하시는 배우분과 감독님들도 정말 훌륭한 사람들이 있는 것 같습니다. 터미네이터 다크페이트 아시아 패션은 여기까지입니다. 오늘 10월 30일 개봉하는 터미네이터 다크페이트 여러분 저녁 7시에 여의도 IFC 이제 레드카펫에서 팬 이벤트 진행되니까요. 여러분 많이 참여해주시고요. 10월 30일 개봉하는 터미네이터 다크페이트 많이 사랑해주시고 좋은 글 부탁드리겠습니다. 저는 지금까지 유시연이었습니다. 고맙습니다.